Hey, this is Reality Josiah, and I just finished watching the Eviction episode for Big Brother Season 24, and it was wild. Probably one of the best reality episodes I've seen in a long time. I mean, it probably depends on where you're coming from and how you're seeing this season in general, but for me, it was fan-freaking-tastic. So we're going to do a quick review, reaction to the episode, and then we're also going to do our cast rankings list, update tier list, just to kind of see how we're thinking about the cast and where they're currently standing. So yeah, this episode starts off with Taylor trying to do her apology tour and figure out what actually happened, realizing that Monty was actually the real core of the issue, and Paloma kind of lied and was acting and crying and being really upset when it was really her fault too on why she was supposed to leave this week. That was all kind of crap to me. I don't really care about that anymore. After that, we start to dig a little bit deeper into some of the antics, and some of the things that Paloma was going through over the last week. And this wasn't even the vast majority of the craziness that we've seen on the feeds. Like, Paloma has been going through a lot. I don't really know when she started to have the whatever was going on with her mentally, but just from day one, you could just kind of tell she was starting to lose it a little bit. I mean, I think I commented on Twitter when she started talking about herself in third person in the DR at the end of maybe episode 2. I thought that was really weird, and I thought people probably should have started to pick up on things then, but to each their own. Tomato. Anyway, long story short, I'm glad Paloma's gone. She was very entertaining while she was here, but she was creating so many lies, a lot of drama, being very unfair to Taylor, in my opinion. And of course, like everyone says, I really do hope that she's okay. I think that she'll be around a lot of people that she's used to. She'll be able to get back on her meds. I feel like she'll probably be fine. I hope so. She'll probably need to stay off of social media because there's a lot of hate there for her right now. But just in general, for me, a very positive night with Paloma leaving the house. Julie then tells the rest of the house guests the backstage twist that they had going on. They're just going to cut that. No one's leaving from that. Nominations, cut that. No one's leaving the house, which saves Brittany and Taylor. Both were super excited because both of them were at risk. Not really Brittany, because Julie did reveal that Brittany did win America's vote, so she would have been fine. She did not let Brittany know that, though, so I guess some people would have liked for Julie to reveal that information over, but I think I understand why they didn't here, since it could have created some weird interactions just with the house guests and things of that sort, since she can't really use that to not have to compete. I mean, I can kind of understand why they went about it that way. But the most important part is that they are safe and they are good to go. And then we jump right into the HOH competition. And they have a pretty unique setup where the cast is doing 2v2s, or they're facing each other in one-offs, 2 at a time. And the top 7 are going to go backstage and have a whole entire another competition. So we didn't actually get to see who the HOH was. But most importantly for me, Taylor and Michael were both able to win their sets, and they're going to go to the next stage. Jasmine actually got hurt after she won. And I'm sorry, I know this is mean, but I was dying laughing. Nothing was funnier to me than that moment. Mostly because Paloma and Jasmine were just talking shit on Taylor from day one. When the feeds first came on, they were saying nothing but crap about Taylor when Taylor didn't do anything to any of them. And so it felt like some nice karma a little bit for Paloma and Jasmine to both have their goodbyes in the same episode. Well, I mean, Jasmine's still in the house, but if she's injured, she can't really do all that much. So maybe the injury's not that serious, and hopefully it's not super serious, but it was just hilarious. I know that's cold, might get some heat for that, but I just thought it was very funny. So that was pretty much the gist of the episode. Now we'll cut to the tier list. All right, so this is the tier list that we set up after episode 1. And so, I mean, I think my opinion on quite a few of these people have changed a good bit, but some of them were pretty spot on. Like Michael has really proven to be a pretty strong competitor. Socially, I do wish he was a little bit stronger, but I think overall he's doing pretty well. I mean, if he can win HOH this week, I think that would be perfect for him, just so he can kind of keep his people safe, like Brittany and some of the other people. I do worry that he might feel obligated to put up Taylor, just because she's still probably someone that Monty would want out and things of that sort. But hopefully she can kind of keep that under wraps. So we'll keep Michael here in the S category. I think that's probably where he belongs. In regards to Pooch, Pooch's name has started to come up a little bit on the live feeds. You haven't really seen that yet on the show, but I think that he's someone who thinks he's a lot smarter than he is, and he's not really all that bright. He's someone that talks like he's doing a lot, but he's not really gaining any traction. So with that being said, I'm going to move Pooch to the B category. He also lost to Michael today in their head-to-head, and I really thought he had a chance to win that matchup. So he's also not proven to be the physical threat that I thought he might be. Moving on, Taylor's in A category. I wish I could move her to S, but her game just isn't as strong as I would like for it to be to move her to S. But for now, we're going to keep her in the A category. I put Terrence in A originally because I believed from his interview, he said he knew a lot about the game. He had a pretty strong mind and plan in place that he really wanted to have a loyal game, have a good team, and kind of stick through it. Since then, he's kind of fallen into like the older player coming on Big Brother trope, where he can't really find a good group who will protect him and keep him safe, since his odds of winning an HOH are pretty low. So because of that, I'm going to move him to C. And the reason why I'm not moving him to D is because I don't think he's going to go home. I think people are going to keep him pretty safe for the most part, in the sense of they're going to put him on the block, but he's not going to go home. No one wants to be on the block next to Terrence. Next up, we have Brittany. I'm not going to keep Brittany in A. I like Brittany. I voted for her to stay, but she's just been so messy, and people know she's messy, and her gameplay's just been so bad. She is a big fan, and so that's why I'm going to not put her in D, but she is definitely in C territory at this point, unfortunately. If she has another bad week, she's going to have to go to D. Next up, we have Daniel. Daniel was HOH this week, and so you would think that he would have been in control of a lot of the things going on within the house, but instead, it was kind of like he was a bystander to his own HOH, just kind of like watching a lot of things happen, and people would sometimes come to him, and he would just kind of react to that to make his nominations and decide who he wants to put up. He tried to form some alliances with the guys, but nothing super solid that he's at the heart and soul of. A lot of people like Daniel. People don't want to vote him out, but he's definitely not an A right now. So I'm going to move him to B. I know a lot of people don't like Daniel, but I'm not really just doing this on who I like. Who I like is probably like 40% of it, but just solid. His gameplay's just been okay. Jasmine, I thought she was going to come in with some Southern charm. She said she's seen pretty much every season of Big Brother. Her dad died, and that's why she wanted to get on the show. And I really believe that she would not be this catty person that she has proven to be, that I'm laughing at when she falls. Like, I thought I was really going to like her, but unfortunately, she has indeed proven to be that catty person who only talks crap about people behind their back. And she even made a comment about that earlier on the feeds, and I think she knows that about herself, but it seems like she's just okay with it. And she's also not winning HOHs. She's only part of an alliance that's dying, the girls. So I'm going to put Jasmine in the D category. not a strong player, not really doing great physically. Socially, is just kind of meh with a lot of people who aren't really wanting to like take that alliance seriously. So I'm gonna put her there, and I think depending on who wins, she could be a potential backdoor nominee. I mean, she could also be a med evac as well. So I think D works either way. Alyssa is an interesting piece. She was kind of paired with Paloma on like day 1 and 2, and I think she probably still was up until Paloma left. But they really didn't talk as much. Alyssa really didn't join. Originally, she joined talking crap on Taylor, but eventually she kind of cooled and calmed that back and started trying to understand where she was coming from and realizing that she probably misjudged her. I think Alyssa has a lot of potential to do well, especially now that Paloma's gone. If she can get a little bit more social, join some of these alliances by herself without Paloma and make sure that those are still solid, she has a chance. So I'm going to keep her in the B spot for now, but she's someone who I could see either going up or falling down really fast. So fingers crossed for her. I'm really rooting for her. She gives me some potential Rachel Riley vibes. Speaking of, Taylor was wearing that like light blue color that I always think of when I see Janelle tonight. And I don't know. I'm hoping that kind of gives her some Janelle juju to hopefully pull through for the win for the HOH. Anyway, Joseph. Joseph is like a fly on the wall. That's not really the best comparison because he's super nice and just kind for the most part. He does join some of the crap talk about Taylor, but for the most part, he's just pretty go with the flow. He's paired with Monty the most, but he's not actually a part of any of the alliances that Monty's a part of. So I'm worried about his game a good bit. I don't really know. I think if he won HOH, he would just do exactly what the guys want him to do just because he feels like he's in with them, but he's not really a part of anything with them. Joseph has a chance to make it far just because no one ever says his name, but I'm going to move him to the C category because he's invisible to me for the most part. If he wins HOH this week and does something splashy, that would be exciting to move him up, but he's just filler. Like, he's just someone who's going to leave over the next few weeks and you're just going to be like, okay, it's Joseph's time to go. He was pretty impressive in his HOH match, if I'm remembering that correctly, but still, like, he can win some HOHs. I just don't think he's going to form anything super solid with the other guys. Next up, we have Turner. I put him in the B category because I didn't really know what to expect from him. He did pretty well in his HOH match. Like, he moved a lot better than I thought he would going in. This week, he did more socially than Pooch did. I think Pooch kind of thought all the stuff that Pooch thought he was doing, Turner was doing. So Turner's doing a lot better socially than I thought he would be doing, but I think the girls would vote to evict him if they actually do stick together. So he's someone who I could see going on the block this week, potentially. I would love to see go on the block, actually. He's just someone that I don't really vibe with that much. But he also has a lot of potential upside still, so we're going to keep him in the B category. Next up, we have Monty. I really don't like this guy. Like, honestly, I can't stand him. I don't know him, but just from what I've seen on the feeds and literally every time he talks, my mind just says, will you shut up? Because he's just so annoying. But outside of me not liking him, he's doing well socially. He's a part of a lot of the main core alliances for people. People like him, trust him. He gives me some Xavier vibes. I know someone else said that, maybe in the house or online or something, and they got some flack for that. But he does give me Xavier vibes, like kind of boring, mainstream, not trying to create too many waves. So I could see him making it far. I just hope he doesn't. But I'm going to keep him in the B area as well. Next up, we have Paloma. She's gone. But she will stay in the D category because that's where she belongs. She had a lot of potential. I understand why they thought she would be great TV, but from the beginning, it was just obvious she should not have been in that house. Next up we have Kyle. Kyle didn't really create too many waves this week. He stayed pretty middle of the pack, like he said on the show, this episode actually. But he's still usually included in the alliances, and people are actually talking game with him more than Joseph. Like, Joseph is middle of the pack and visible. Kyle's middle of the pack, but still somewhat included in these conversations. Kyle's starting to rise up for me as someone who I could see being pretty strong in this game on the post jury level. Definitely when he starts winning some competitions, if he can. He was moving pretty quick through the HOH competition as well today. So I'm going to move him to A. I think he definitely has potential. I don't feel incredibly passionate about him one way or the other. If you disagree with me strongly, would totally get it. Not really going to argue with you on that one, but I think he just has a lot of upside, so I'm going to put him in the A spot, kind of the core of a lot of different pieces. Amira. Amira was a part of a lot of the cattiness this week in regards to Taylor. The thing that I like about Amira's game, though, is that people realize she's smart and they want to work with her, and she thinks about the game the right way 50% of the time, and that's still 5 times as much than a lot of the cast this season. So I'm tempted to almost put her in the A spot, but I'm going to keep her in the B spot for now, just because I don't like her. Personally, I don't like her. But I think she does have a lot of upside, and I think she could definitely continue to do well if she continues to build upon these relationships. If she can take down an HOH win at some point. She was pretty close to winning the veto competition last week as well. So I think she can definitely win an HOH and make a big splashy move and really change the game for herself at some point. And I'm not really worried about her leaving this week either, so I think she definitely has a chance. Next up we have Nicole. I really didn't think I was going to like Nicole going into the season, just because her interviews were very, I want to stick with my crew, I want to make sure we vote, don't go against the house, that kind of thing. But this week, she was one of the people along with Alyssa who were like, oh, we might have read her wrong. She might not be that bad. And so, along with that, and then also, people tend to just like Nicole. I didn't really hear her name coming up a ton in regards to people that we should get out. She's pretty middle of the pack right now. Being tied to David, she's David's homie, his closest ally. I think it could be good for her if someone that's not one of the main core people of that alliance that they showed today, if someone else wins and she can get close to them, she has a chance. Hopefully she can get away from Daniel a little bit. That's not the duo you want. But if you can get with someone else, I think she could have a chance. So she's not a C player. She's definitely B, middle of the pack at this point. Next up we have Indy. I didn't think I was going to like Indy after her interviews and things of that sort. I just thought she was going to be really, really bad at this game. And I don't think I was wrong, but I actually like Indy. I like her as a person. She's funny. She has just good energy. She's trying to always bring positivity to the group. But the gameplay aspect is just not clicking for her. She doesn't love talking game. She doesn't like to look into the future in regards to moves that she wants to make. She's not someone that you want to have in an alliance with you. She's, like I said from the get-go, she's someone that you take to the end with you. She's D tier, but we're going to keep her in the C- tier, just because she's nice to have. But she's definitely most likely to move lower. Also, she's someone that people constantly talk about putting on the block, just as a filler, just to kind of make sure that whoever they actually want to go home can go home. But sometimes they'll even say, hey, if she goes home, she goes home. I think Terrence, Brittany, Indy all kind of fit that category. Taylor a little bit too, but I'm hoping things might change a little bit. But yeah, so that's kind of the tier list for where the cast is at as of right now for me. We will see how this shakes up this week when we get the current HOH and all the craziness that might go down. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I would love to know if you guys strongly disagree or agree with any of these. And we can just kind of go back and forth and go from there.